I'm Siobhan Henu. Welcome to the Culture Quarter, where we take a look at Australia's cultural icons and collections. 100 years ago, the famous ballet company, the Ballet Russe, was founded. It was a global sensation and it toured Australia in the 1930s. One of its principal ballerinas, Anna Volkova, is still alive and she's living in Sydney. Born in 1917, she fled with her family to Paris to escape the revolution. And now, at the ripe old age of 94, she shares her memories with Kate Evans.
I didn't know anything about ballet. I never thought about ballet, never even imagined that one day I will be a dancer.
But Anna Volkova did become a dancer, starting lessons as a child with the best Russian ballet teacher in Paris.
She wanted me for a week, and after that she will decide whether I will stay or not. But my parents were so poor, they couldn't, they lost everything when they left Russia. So they were just stateless, moneyless, very, very true refugees. Well, she said it doesn't matter, she can come as a free student. So that was the beginning of my dancing career, of my dancing life. And after that, I couldn't look at anything else. I just want the ballet.
The avant-garde dance company Les Ballets Russes had been touring to great acclaim for 2 decades, but by the early 30s, director Diaghilev had died, and another Russian, Colonel Vasily de Bazile, reformed the company, recruiting young dancers from the Paris studios.
One day, after a lesson, a whole group of people came to watch the class. They must have been quite important because Madame was all in a flutter. And one of them was Colonel de Bazile, who was the director. And after the end of the class, de Bazile said, "Would you like to join the company?" I was 15.
Anna Volkova travelled with the company across Europe, as well as to the US and to Australia, visiting in 1938 and again in 1939 to 40.
My family was against me going because it was so far away. But I was hooked on the ballet. I just wanted to go. And, when I arrived, not 1 minute, not 1 day was I disappointed.
During those tours, the company stayed for months on end, so there was time for play as well as work. This amateur footage shows some of the dancers on Sydney's Bungan Beach in around 1939. And this is Anna Volkova.
The 2 times I came to Australia with the company, I will never forget. It was my best memories of how much fun and yet good work and response from the audience we had. It was something new for the Australians, you must say that. It was completely new, with not only ballet and dancing, but with the music and the scenery, the costumes, the marvelous costumes that we had. I had a favorite costumes because it was my favorite part, and in the coq d'or, the golden cockerel, and the costume was lovely, but it had a very heavy golden tail, and that was difficult to get used to in all the jumps and the pirouettes the role required.
This footage shows Anna Volkova dancing the cockerel in Melbourne in the late 30s. But the highlight of her dancing days was an encounter with royalty in London.
Now that we have seen that horrible film about the ballet, with the ballerina going quite mad, well, I will speak of much nicer times of the ballet when in London at Covent Garden we all heard that there was a special performance in aid of some charity, and the Queen and the King will be the performance, and that they will come backstage for a light supper with all the artists afterwards. And the king was just crowned not long before that, George VI. So we were all very curious to see the king and the queen so close to us, and we were all peering through the curtain. They came up the rickety stairs that we had, up the stage, and I had to pinch myself. I'm with the king and the queen, But how I met my husband, I think that's a nice story too. We were leaving Australia after a second tour of the ballet here on the ship, and the company was very tired. I didn't leave my cabin for about 4 or 5 days. All I did was sleep and eat. One day